Good morning. Today is Tuesday, October 29th, 2025. God speaks to Avraham and says, Lech lecha, go, ultimately to the land of Israel. And Avraham leaves with his wife Sarah and his nephew Lot. Sarah, I understand, because they're married, so they want to stay together. I'm assuming they love each other. So if Avraham goes, Sarah goes. But why does Lot come? And what does it mean for Lot to be part of this now trio? It's not clear. There are many different opinions within the commentaries, but it's not clear. Maybe he likewise had a sense of mission to create something great under the guidance of God, like Avraham. Maybe. Maybe he went to watch over his aunt and his uncle, who, after all, were quite elderly and they're going to be making a very rigorous trip. Maybe that's why he went. Or maybe he was thinking about his inheritance. You know, if my aunt and uncle strike it rich and they don't have any children, well, that could be profitable for me. There's no indication in the Torah. They get to Israel, then known as Canaan. And soon after, there's a famine. And because of the famine, the three of them travel to Egypt, where there is food. And they're there for a while. And there's a story that goes along with it, which we'll leave for another time. And they leave. Vayal Avram Mitzrayim. Avraham left Egypt. Hu v'ishto v'chol ashelo. He and his wife Sarah, and all of his possessions, because he had gained great wealth the Egyptians had given him. V'lot imo, and with Lot, he didn't leave Lot behind in Egypt. Hanegba, and they went to the Negev, the southern part of Israel. V'Avram kaved ma'od b'mikneh b'kesev b'zav, and Avraham was exceedingly wealthy in animals and in silver and in gold. V'gam l'Lot haholech es Avraham, and also Lot came back with wealth. Hayetzonu v'karvo halim, he had sheep and cattle and tents. So now they're not just two people living side by side, but they each have large areas that they need for themselves. And the Torah tells us, "V'lo nasa osam haaretz l'sheves yachtav." The place that they were was not big enough for the two of them, because they were so wealthy. V'lo yachlu l'sheves yachtav, and they found that they were not able to live close to each other. In addition to that, or maybe this is an explanation of that, v'yiriv ben roi miknei Avraham u'ben roi miknei Lot, there was an argument between the shepherds of Avraham and the shepherds of Lot. V'haknani v'aprizi az yoshe ba'aretz, and this is during the time when the nation of Canaan and the nation of Peraz lived in this land. Vayomer Avram el Lot, so Avram says to his nephew Lot, Al nati meriva beini u'beinecha, let's not have any arguments between ourselves, between Avram and Lot. Ubein roai, ubein roecha. And we don't want arguments between your shepherds and my shepherds. Ki anoshim anachnu achim anachnu. Because we're brothers. I mean, we're close relatives. Yes, uncle and nephew, but we're close. And therefore, it's not right that living so close together, we're having problems living together. Halo kol haaretz lefanecha. The whole land is open for us. He pared name aloi. So I'm asking you to move away. There's plenty of space. Im hasmol ve'emina. If you go to the left, I will go to the right. V'im hayamin v'asmila. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Vayisa Lot esav, and Lot looked. Vayar, as called Kikar Hayarden, he saw the very fertile, the very fertile area of the Jordan Valley, the Jordan Plain. It was very fertile at that time. Kikula Mashke, because it was completely, sufficiently watered, and it was very verdant. Lifnei shaches Hashem es Sodom ves Amorah. This is before what happens later in the Torah, where God destroys Sodom and Amorah, which are the two cities within this area. When it's completely destroyed, before that, it was a beautiful, beautiful area. Kagan Hashem ka'aretz Mitzrayim b'achatzor. It's like the garden of God. It's the most beautiful place. Vayivcha lo Lot, and Lot chose Kol Kikar Hayarden, chose to go to this area, the valley, the plain of Yarden, which included the cities of Sodom and Amorah. Today we know this as the edge of the Red Sea. The Jordan River comes from north to south and it empties into the Red Sea. And so presumably the cities of Sodom and Amorah were along that path, and that's where Lot chose to live. There are 3 extremely important lessons that we should be able to learn from this passage. Today I'll share one, and tomorrow I plan to share the other 2, because the other 2 are shorter. Vayiriv bein roe mikna Avraham bein roe mikna Lot. There was an argument, and not just one. They were arguing. They were quarrelsome between the shepherds of Avraham and the shepherds of Lot. V'haknani v'aprizi oz yoshev ba'aretz. The nation of Canaan and the nation of Praz were living there at that time. Why is that last phrase there? First of all, we know that they lived there. I mean, it's the land of Canaan. Who else is going to live there except the people of Canaan? And second of all, there was a pasuk just in the last chapter, the chapter before, that says the Canaani and the Perizi were living there. And third, what does the presence of Canaan and Praz have to do with the argument between Lot and Avram? Why is it there? It's in the middle of the pasuk. So I found an answer written by Rabbi Yoshua ben Shaub. He lived in the 13th century, great scholar. I'm not going to share his answer, but I would say the answer that I'm going to share is inspired by what he wrote, but I'm going to say something a little bit different, but it is he who inspired me to say this. And it's an answer that is so powerful and so true today. We need to internalize it. And not just internalize it, we need to act on it. The sages of the Talmud had an aphorism. Tigra ben Achia, Messias bin Nuchraya. When brothers fight, strangers rejoice. Avraham understood that as long as there was powerful strife and quarrelsome enmity between the two of them, Avraham and Lot, and their shepherds, that would be an invitation for the other nations around them to try to destroy them, to move them away. So Avraham needed to distance himself from Lot as a means of distancing himself from machlokes. Machlokes among Jews weakens Jews and fortifies our enemies. And according to this understanding, we have to translate the words a little bit differently. There was arguing between the shepherds of Avraham and the shepherds of Lot. V'haknani, v'haprazi, az yoshev ba'aretz. The Knani and the Prazi were there. Az yoshev ba'aretz. Az, the word then becomes causation, because of. That is, we need to separate because we're living amongst enemies. And if there is enmity between us, that will lead our enemies to attack us. Because this was written in the 13th century, but we see this today. I've shared with you before, we have proof now, certainty, that the plan of Hamas first was to attack Israel around Pesach time 2024. But they moved up the time to October 7th, 2023. And they moved it up because, and this is written in their own writings that have been recovered, because there was tremendous enmity between Jews in Israel. The subject of judicial review, judicial reform, the subject of Haredim not serving in the army, other issues, as we remember. Before October 7th, Israel was dealing with a level of enmity between itself that was itself threatening to tear Israel apart. But Yahya Sinwar wrote and said to others, when the Israelis are fighting amongst themselves, that's the time to attack them. And the timing of the attack was made earlier because of what was happening in Israel. I'm sure there are other reasons, but this is one that we now know with certainty is one of the reasons for the timing of the attack. They wanted to, in quotation marks, take advantage of the internal dissension in Israel. And what that means is healing the rifts between Jews in Israel. And when I say healing the rifts, I don't mean that everybody should agree. We should disagree. They're complicated questions, and people are entitled to their opinion. And there should be more than one party, more than one opinion, more than one approach. But to be able to have that disagreement with civility. And even if we disagree passionately, because these issues are important issues, we still have to do it with respect. And we must refrain from looking at each other as enemies. And it's not just that that's not the right thing. That's not good. That's not the moral thing. It is, especially for us in Israel, a matter of life and death. We can never go back to October 6th, 2023. Because Tigra bin Achya, Messiah ben Nuchraya. When brothers and sisters fight against each other, our enemies rejoice. We must do whatever is necessary to heal the dissonance between Jews and Israel, because it's a matter of life and death. My friends, I wish you a great day, and I look forward to seeing you soon in person.